السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى. Welcome back to our summary of Minhaj ul-Abideen written by Imam Al-Ghazali. We have covered our stage of knowledge, we have covered our stage of Tawbah, and we are now at the third stage, which is al-Aqabatul Awaiq, the stage of obstacles. So Imam Ghazali says, ثم عليك يا طالب العبادة وفق الله تعالى بدفع العوائق حتى تستقيم عبادتك وقد ذكرنا أن العوائق أربعة. So before that, I'm going to tell you that this is the chapter in which Imam Ghazali really goes out towards his classical principled approach, and you're going to be seeing a side of Ghazali that you're not really introduced to, and that is the stricter side of what Imam Ghazali has to say. He says, upon you then, O who want to worship, وفق الله تعالى, may Allah give you tawfiq, بدفع العوائق. Upon you is to remove the obstacles that are going to stop you from worship, حتى تستقيم عبادتك, until your own worship has come to fruition. وقد ذكرنا أن العوائق أربعة, and we have mentioned that the awaiq are actually four. And I mentioned this in the first video as well. Today we're going to be covering only one of those. أحدها الدنيا. The first obstacle that you're going to face in your journey towards heaven is الدنيا, this world. ودفعها إنما هو بالتجرد عنها والزهد فيها وإنما لزمك هذا التجرد والزهد لأمرين. So he says the only way you can actually get rid of dunya is to actually empty yourself of dunya and to engage in something that we call zuhd. That is the only way you can actually get rid of dunya and actually move towards worship. And this zuhd and this emptying yourself of dunya is actually important for two reasons. أحدهما لتستقيم لك العبادة وتكثر. The first reason is that zuhd and actually abandoning this dunya gives you the opportunity to worship and increase your worship. فإن الرغبة في الدنيا تشغلك. Because engaging in this dunya will actually occupy you. أما ظاهرك فبالطلب وأما باطنك فبالإرادة وحديث النفس. And the way this dunya occupies you is actually in two different ways. The first way is the physical way, and the second way is the internal spiritual way. So the physical way is talab. You actually go out of your house, go to your job, go to your businesses, go to your whatever you're trying to do in this world. But the internal state is actually bil irada wa hadith nafs. When your nafs actually tells you to go out of your way and seek this dunya and to will it and to make plans for it. Irada literally means that you're trying to give it preference internally. You're thinking about it, you're trying to arrange your life according to whatever these worldly goals that you have mentioned, and you're trying to achieve it. You're giving your best you can to these goals. وَكِلَاهُمَا يَمْنَعُ عَنِ الْعِبَادَةِ. And both these things, this physical occupation and this internal occupation, will stop you from worship. فَإِنَّ النَّفْسَ وَاحِدَةٌ. Because man has only one soul. وَالْقَلْبَ وَاحِدٌ. And your heart is only one. فَإِذَا اشْتَغَلَ بِشَيْءٍ. So if your one and only heart will actually engage in something, انقطع عن ضده, it will not engage in the other thing. So if you engage in this dunya, you won't have time or the spiritual prowess to actually engage in something else. And now he's going to give you the evidence for what he's saying. أما شغلها في الظاهر فقد روينا عن أبي الدرداء رضي الله عنه أنه قال. As for the physical occupation of yourself, then indeed Abu Darda radiallahu anh has conveyed to us that he said, زاولت أن أجمع بين العبادة والتجارة فلم يجتمع فأقبلت على العبادة وتركت التجارة. Abu Darda radiallahu anh, he says, I tried to gather between business and dunya, and I was not able to do so. So I actually turned my intention towards worship and I left business. وعن عمر رضي الله عنه أنه قال لو كانت مجتمعتين لأحد غيري لاجتمعتا عليه لما آتاني الله تعالى من القوة. And Hazrat Umar radiallahu anh, he says that if dunya and akhirah would actually gather for someone, they would have gathered for me because of what Allah has given me of the strength. But even Hazrat Umar is trying to say that it didn't work for him. وَأَمَّا شَغْلُهَا بِالْقَلْبِ. And so these evidences were for the physical occupation. As for the internal occupation, وَهُوَ الْبَاطِنُ لِمِكَانِ الْأَرَادَةِ. And as he said, that what he means by the internal occupation is willing for the dunya. فَمَا رُوِيَ عَنِ النَّبِي صلى الله عليه وسلم أنه قال. Then the hadith of Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم, he said, مَنْ أَحَبَّ دُنْيَاهُ. Whoever loves his world, أَضَرَ بِآخِرَتِهِ. Then he causes some destruction to his akhirah. وَمَنْ أَحَبَّ آخِرَتَهُ. And whoever loves his akhirah, أَضَرَ بِدُنْيَاهُ. Then he causes destruction to his dunya. فَآثِرُوا مَا يَبْقَى عَلَى مَا يَفْنَى. So, all you people, give preference to what will last over what will perish. In other words, give preference to the akhirah over the dunya. فَبَانَ لَكَ أَنَّهُ إِذَا اشْتَغَلَ ظَاهِرُكَ بِالدُّنْيَا وَبَاطِنُكَ بِإِرَادَتِهَا فَلَا تَتَيَسَّرُ لَكَ الْعِبَادَةُ حَقَّهَا. So it has become now clear to you that if your physical and internal self will engage in this dunya, then ibadah and its what is due to it, you will not be able to give it. You will not be able to worship how it is proper to worship. وَأَمَّا إِذَا ذَهَدْتَ فِيهَا. However, if you actually abstain from the dunya, فَتَفَرَّقْتَ بِظَاهِرِكَ وَبَاطِنِكَ, and actually freed your physical internal self for worship, تَتَمَشَّى لَكَ الْعِبَادَةِ. Ibadah will walk towards you. بَلْ تَعَوَنُكَ أَعْضَاؤُكَ عَلَيْهَا. Rather, your entire body will actually help you in worship. وَلَقَدْ رُوِيَ عن سلمان الفارسي رضي الله عنه أنه قال. So Salman al-Farsi radiallahu anhu, he said, إِنَّ الْعَبْدَ إِذَا ذَهَدَ فِي الدُّنْيَا. If a person abstains from this dunya, استنار قلبه بالحكمة. His heart becomes bright with wisdom. وَتَعَاوَنَتْ أَعْضَاؤُهُ فِي الْعِبَادَةِ. And his body will help him in worship. So this was the first reason to actually start worshipping. The second reason you need to leave this dunya is وَالثَّانِي مِنَ الْأَمْرَيْنِ أَنَّهُ يَكْثُرُ قِيمَةَ عَمَلِكَ. The second reason is that it actually increases the quality and the price of your actions. وَيُعَزِّمُ قَدْرَهُ وَشَرْفَهُ. And leaving the dunya actually increases the status of your actions, وَالشَّرْف of your actions. فَلَقَدْ قَالَ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم. Because the Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, رَكْعَتَانِ مِنْ رَجُلٍ زَاهِدٍ قَلْبُهُ خَيْرٌ أَحَبُّ إِلَى اللَّهِ جَلَّ جَلَالُهُ مِنْ عِبَادَةِ الْمُتَعَبِّدِينَ إِلَى آخِرِ الدَّهْرِ أَمَدًا سَرْمَدًا. 2 units of prayer from a person whose heart is free from the dunya is actually better and beloved to Allah Azza wa Jal than the worship of the worshipping people forever, till the end of time. So if there are people who worship Allah till the end of time, forever, it is more beloved to Allah than a person whose heart is empty from this world to pray 2 units of prayer. This is a hadith. فَإِن قُلْتَ فَمَا مَعْنَى الزُّهْدِ فِي الدُّنْيَا وَمَا حَقِيقَةُ ذَلِكَ. So if you say, what is the meaning of zuhd? Okay, I get all of this, but what is actually the meaning of zuhd? And what is the haqiqah? What is the reality of zuhd? فَعْلَمْ. He says, أن الزهد عند علمائنا رحمه الله تعالى زهدان. Zuhd is actually, according to our ulama, 2 types of zuhd. زهد مقتور للعبد وزهد غير مقتور. Zuhd that is actually in your control, and a zuhd that is not in your control. فالذي هو مقدور ثلاثة أشياء. As for the zuhd that is in your control, that comprises of three things. ترك طلب المفقود من الدنيا. To actually leave what you don't have. So you don't have a car, you don't have a house, you don't have this, you don't have that. If you don't have these things, stop trying to seek them out. You're thinking about maybe you need this phone, you maybe need this laptop, maybe you need that and this or that. If you don't have it, stop thinking about it. Leave them. وَتَفْرِيقُ الْمَجْمُوعِ مِنْهَا. And whatever you do have, distribute it to the people. So this is where Imam Ghazali is. You're seeing a side of Ghazali that is very principled and strict. Whatever you don't have, stop trying to seek it. When whatever you do have, distribute it. وَتَرْكُ إِرَادَتِهَا وَاخْتِيَارِهَا, and stop trying to want and trying to seek out more of the dunya. So if you do these three things, you'll actually get the real zuhd that he's going to describe now. وَأَمَّا الزُّهْدُ الَّذِي هُوَ غَيْرُ الْمَقْتُورِ لِلْعَبْدِ فَهُوَ بُرُودَةُ الشَّيْءِ عَلَى قَلْبِ الزَّاهِدِ. The last type of zuhd is for the heart to be empty of the things of this world. For your heart to be actually away and abstaining from this world. And this type of zuhd isn't achieved by your actions. It is something that Allah gives you. And Allah gives you when you do the three previously mentioned things. This is what he's saying. You won't actually get this, but you'll get this when you فإذا أتى به العبد بألا يطلب ما ليس عنده من الدنيا وأن يفرق ما عنده منها ويترك بالقلب إرادتها واختيارها لأجل الله وعظيم ثوابه وبتذكره لآفاته أورثته تلك برودة الدنيا على قلبه وهذا عندي هو الزهد الحقيقي. So if a person actually leaves wanting things that he doesn't have and he actually distributes what he does have, and he stops wanting and trying to go out of the way to gain this dunya, Allah will give him this haqiqi, the real zuhud, which is the emptying of the heart from this dunya. ثم علم أن أصعب الأمور الثلاثة إنما هو ترك الإرادة. So he says that these three things that he's mentioned, the most difficult out of them all is to leave the irada, the trying to will for things. إذ كم طارق لها بظاهره محب مريد لها بباطنه. Because how many people in this world physically don't have things, but in their heart the love for this world is immense. ألم تسمع إلى قوله سبحانه وتعالى تلك الدار الآخرة نجعلها للذين لا يريدون علوا في الأرض ولا فسادا. Did you not hear the words of Allah SWT when He says, this akhirah, we have created it for the people who don't want لا يريدون علوا, who don't want greatness in this world, ولا فسادا, and they don't want fasad, destruction in this world. So the point of the word that we're trying to focus on here is yuriduna, to not want. It is entirely possible that they get great in this world due to other reasons, but they don't want it in their hearts. So the important part is that we need to stop wanting. وقوله تعالى من كان يريد حرث الآخرة نزد له في حرثه ومن كان يريد حرث الدنيا نؤته منها ما له وما له في الآخرة من نصيب. Allah SWT says, whoever wants the produce of this world, whoever wants the produce of the akhirah, we will increase him in his produce. And whoever wants the productions of this dunya, we will give him something from it, and he will not have in the akhirah any part. So whoever wants the akhirah, Allah will give it to him. And whoever wants something from this world, Allah may or may not give him something from it, but he for sure won't have anything from the akhirah. وقوله تعالى من كان يريد العاجل عجلنا له فيها ما نشاء فيما نشاء لمن نريد. And whoever wants, Allah SWT says, whoever desires this dunya, we will make it quicker for him. We will give it to him quickly. But we will do it in a way that how we want it and for whoever we want it. So if you want something, it's not entirely possible entirely necessary that Allah will give you that exact thing. But it is in His control. If He does want it to give it to you, He'll give it to you. And if He doesn't, then He'll give it to someone else. This is the reality of the dunya. وقوله ومن أراد الآخرة وسعى لها سعيها وهو مؤمن. So the important part is it's wanting. وَمَنْ أَرَادَ, whoever wants the akhirah. So the important part is wanting things. Then he says, فَإِنْ قِيلَ فَمَا حُكْمُ الزُّهْدِ في الدنيا أهو فرض أم نفل فاعلم أن الزهد يقع عندنا في الحلال والحرام فهو في الحرام فرض وفي الحلال نفل. So if you say, okay, zuhd is great, we'll do zuhd, but is it farz or is it nafil? So he says that zuhd actually happens in two things. Zuhd in leaving the haram is farz. So zuhd from wine, from zina and stuff like that, that is farz. But zuhd from halal things, that is nafil, that is super, that's not farz on you, but if you do it, that is actually good for you. But he says an important point here is that the more you come to know of this dunya, the more you come to know of what it has and what it has to offer, the more you begin to hate it. And the only difference between a zahid and a ghafil is knowledge. So the zahid actually knows the reality of the things of this dunya. So he says that, okay, I'll only take what I need, the bare minimum, and I'll leave the rest of it because I understand how dangerous it is for me and for my faith. But the ghafil, he says, he doesn't know. Okay, he doesn't know the problems this dunya has for him. So he takes what he wants and then he takes more of it for pleasure and stuff like that. So he says the difference between a zahid and a ghafil is essentially ilm, which goes back to our first stage of ilm. You need ilm to do anything at all. And then he says, فَإِنْ قِيلَ فَلَا بُدَّ لَنَا مِنْ قَدْرٍ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا لِيَكُونَ قِوَامٌ لَنَا فَكَيْفَ نَزْهَدُ فِيهَا. So if someone says, okay, I love Zuhd, but ultimately we have to stay in this world, we need some of this world to actually live our lives. So how can we do Zuhd? فَعْلَمْ, Imam Al-Ghazali says, and this is his stricter opinion, أن الزهد في الفضول مما لا يحتاج إليه في قوام البنية. That zuhd actually is in things that you don't need for survival. فالمقصود القوام والقوة حتى تعبد الله سبحانه لا الأكل والشرب والتلذذ. والله تعالى إن شاء أقامها بشيء وسبب وإن شاء أقامها بغير سبب كالملائكة. So he says that zuhd is only, you need to only take the bare minimum things that you need to live in this world and you need to leave the rest. This is zuhd. And then he gives his stricter opinion, which is that Allah is not constrained by causation. If He so wishes, He can give you everything that you need to survive without any cause, without a job, without a business, without farming. He can give you all of that, like He does give it to the malaika, the angels. ثم إن كان بشيء إن شاء فبشيء حاصل عندك. And if Allah wants to give you something, then He can give it to you from whatever you have right now. أو بطلبك وكسبك, or He can give it to you because you try to seek that out. وإن شاء فبشيء غيره يسببه لك من حيث لا تحتسب. And if God wills it, He will give it to you without any cause, in a way that you can't comprehend. من غير طلب منك ولا كسب. Even if you don't seek it out, even if you don't earn it, go out of your house and earn it, Allah will give it to you. كما قال الله تعالى ومن يتق الله يجعل له مخرجا ويرزقه من حيث لا يحتسب. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in His Quran, whoever fears Allah, Allah will make a way out for him and He will give him rizq from where he does not perceive it. So this is his controversial opinion, that you actually don't need to worry about rizq at all. Allah will give it to you. He is not constrained by these causes and things like that. And with that, he comes to the end of the dunya part of this chapter. I will see you next time, and we will talk about the creation of Allah and how it stops you from worship. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.